So my name is Carla Beetge. Yeah, so I grew up in a home with obviously an insurance broker for a dad. He was a bit of a workaholic. We hardly saw him. You get used to that eventually. And he always had a passion for his clients. So when I left school, I actually went to study teaching. And then I went overseas and I first au paired in America for a little bit, which was wonderful experience, life experience, and getting to know different countries. And then I went over I came back home for a little while and taught for about 6 months in Queenstown, the Eastern Cape, where I actually live at the moment and where I grew up. And then I went over to England and I taught in London again for another year and a half there. And so after all those years of actually studying teaching, then going to different countries, I just felt called to come back home to our very small town and come and restudy again. So then I did my broker studies through UNISA at that point. So August 2009, I came home, worked as a receptionist here for him for a little while, and then I started studying through UNISA. Did all my studies, did really well, and I did all my REs and all of that. And in 2012, at the end of 2012, I eventually then became a full-time broker. So August this year marked 14 years in the insurance industry for me. I was actually very happy in London, and I was very sad to let go of that opportunity I was given, because I knew at that moment making that decision meant making a decision for the rest of my life. So for me, it was definitely, I love teaching, and I'm so jealous of some of my teaching friends that have these amazing holidays and all of that all the time with the kids in the holiday period. But it was definitely, I wanted a bigger challenge, and I knew my father probably had one of the most challenging jobs that I had ever come across. So I think you have to have a very big heart for people, and I also think that you have to be very hardworking and very thick-skinned, because it's not an easy industry. You can't be sensitive. You have to be thick-skinned. You also have to want to help people. You're talking to people during very bad moments in their life. Either they've suffered a trauma, like being held up, or they've had an accident, or we've dealt with people that have lost spouses and accidents. And so, it's very definitely a career that you have to have the right personality. Okay, my dad is very much still involved. He turned 70 this year. And it also was his 40th year in insurance. His 20th year of opening this organization. So he is still involved. I think he feels he can't leave yet. He still, wants to be around his clients, and I think he thinks none of us can deal without him, which some days I also don't know if we can do without him. I think he'll stay around for as long as he can. I have taken over different roles in the company. I left school hardly talking to my father because he was such a workaholic. But, coming back and working for him, I've got a different level of respect that I don't think I would have had if I hadn't come home, not if I hadn't come to work for him. Like you see a person differently when you're working with them than they are if they're just purely your parents. To deal with a call center, even for the people with small policies, to deal with call centers from one person to the next person, very impersonal, and it's very frustrating. I know that, a lot of our job is to negotiate and deal with call centers for clients. And even my staff, you sometimes spend, like 20, 30 minutes just holding for people or trying to get through the right people, and that's our job, and we understand that. But we take that frustration out of claims and of doing changes for clients, And I think also we understand what needs to be disclosed properly. Like, we understand the importance of it. Whereas if you're just doing insurance with a director and you kind of forget you had that claim and you don't tell them about it, or you don't realize that you need to tell them if your child is living in a different address and they stopped at that different address. A lot gets lost, during during that, because you don't have a personal, relationship with those people that know you a little bit better or know what questions to ask. But, with the right questions and the right knowledge, you can form a relationship with them. I mean, I've got a lady in Cape Town. I know all her kids' names. I know that her one daughter's a ballerina and all of that, because it's a real relationship, even though it's on the phone. With WhatsApp and emails, come a lot easier. You can have instant information and you can also arrange things instantly. It also means that, you can have relationships with people all over the country and you don't actually have to see them all the time. People actually don't want people in their space often. They just want to get things done in their own time. They don't want to have to wait until you're in the area to be able to do something for them. I think we definitely see very severe weather changes and lots of weather-related claims. So I do think that, weather itself, we see a lot more hail claims, flooding claims. And I do think that, just driving, there's a lot of unlicensed vehicles and unlicensed drivers. Driving is a high risk, in this country. And we've seen, really increases in premiums. And clients don't understand that. They're just going to say, oh, but my vehicle's less in value. It's not as expensive as it was. It's dropped in value. Or I haven't had claims. They don't actually understand that the risk has become so much more just leaving your property, I think you've got to be a caring and a very efficient person in this industry. You can't just leave things. If you're not sure about things, you need to carry on and get the right information. I also think you can't be a sensitive person because, as I said, you're dealing with people. Either it's grudge purchase, they don't want to pay for their insurance because it might not never ever happen. They're not really doing anything when they're paying you the premiums straight away. Or it's because you're dealing with them in really terrible situations or they've already been inconvenienced. And I also think we must, maybe the youth need to actually be better prepared on computers. I'm finding a lot of, people leaving school, they're 18, 19, 20. I would naturally assume that they would be computer literate, but that's not happening. There are a lot of schools in our areas and districts, in South Africa that actually don't have computers at their schools. It's quite scary. They're very capable on Twitter and WhatsApp, but you don't know how to use computers properly. And I think as a whole, we need to push that because we're being left behind. They're not working on computers at school. They don't have that knowledge. They don't know what basic Excel and Word. Those are basic programs. And I will say, Old Newton Show, they go out of their way to see how they can help. They less black and white, and they're really trying to see how they can work in a way to help people and to make it work. So I will say sometimes I think our blood does run a little bit green here. The online platform is a very user-friendly system. We can do changes onto policies. You can report things. At any time of the day, you can just make it work. So yeah, we through the years we have taken on other companies, but I don't think we'll ever get rid of Old Mutual. I think we'll always be firm support. I think we're just in a growing space in South Africa, but unfortunately, I don't think the economy is growing as much as we wish it would. I think insurance in South Africa is well up there with insurers across the world. We definitely compete and we understand risk. I think because there are so many risks in our country, there's such a wide range of things that can happen. We've already thought of most situations. So the world needs to watch, South Africa because we really have a good understanding of business. But I do just wish that, our lower income earners, that they could step up and they could also have these opportunities to be part of this type of industry, to have insurance personally, because it's really concerning with the amount of vehicles that are on the road that aren't insured. It just puts a risk to the other people that do have insurance. And you paying for those people that don't have insurance on our roads, So I do wish that maybe the government would maybe put a third-party insurance as a compulsory thing when you buy a vehicle and all of that. That would help. But otherwise, it's been yeah, it's been a ride, and I think we'll see more changes happening in the next 20 years. With technology, we've been able to grow our business, and I think it's also with the personal touch. Clients come back. There's lots of clients that refer other clients, which is a wonderful testimony of how we doing our work. And I think that's the biggest thing at the end of the day, is that the people want to do work with you, or to work with you because you do good work.